Next, pgSQL. So till now we have discussed SQL concepts only. Okay, so these SQL concepts is mostly common to all kind of databases, SQL Server, MySQL, okay, and Teradata. So syntactically difference will be there, but definitions all are same only. Okay, and come to this pgSQL. PL means procedural language of PostgreSQL. Okay, so it will allow us to create reusable database functions, store procedures. So why means, see, in SQL query, we can write somewhat minimal logic only. Okay, but coming to the complexity kind of things, we can't write the entire logic into one query. Okay, in some requirements, so we need to take some variables and we need to store that some values into that variables we may need to use somewhere. Okay, and in some cases we may need to use temporary tables also. Okay, so if else statements, loops, okay, these are all not possible to write the logic in SQL. Okay, so that's why this procedural language and PostgreSQL come into the picture. That means we can able to write procedural functions, triggers, and block level structures, and we can able to use control statements, if else statements, loops, and we can able to implement exceptional handling and dynamic SQL. Okay, so these kind of features we can use in pgSQL only. Okay, and what are the main differences in plain SQL and pgSQL? Plain SQL cannot handle loops, conditions, and branching. And pgSQL, it will support if loop, while, for, and remaining loops. Okay, that means business rules and validations are easier in pgSQL. And coming to the reusability, suppose if you want to use some logic, in multiple places, same query should be used in multiple places. But coming to this pgSQL, if you create one function or procedure, if you write that logic in that function or procedure, and wherever we want, we can use that function or procedure. And coming to the performance also, this see, plain SQL, each query sends a round trip from application to DB. Okay, and I will tell one example why this pgSQL will be widely used instead of plain SQL. Okay, for example, one requirement will be there. In that requirement, we need to do some insert operation, update operation, and select operation. Okay, suppose I don't want to use pgSQL, I mean pgSQL, then how do you write? In API itself, we need to write a query for insert, that is 1 DB call. Okay, we need to write a query for update, that is another DB call. We need to write one query for select, that is another DB call. So for insert, update, select, we need 3 DB calls. Okay, so unnecessarily we are using extra 2 DB calls. If you use function, in that function, if you write insert, update, select queries itself, then in one DB call only, I can achieve 3 different types of functionalities. Okay. So 2 DB calls are no need to use. Okay. So that is that means it will reduce network traffic. Okay. For such kind of situations, it is better to use pgSQL. So advantage means, as I said, faster execution, especially in batch operation. Batch operation means insert, update, select. So these multiple kind of operations, if we want to use, then better to go for pgSQL only. So plain SQL, it will take for each and every operation, it will take 1 DB call. And error handling, so in plain SQL, error handling will not be possible, so that it will stop the execution. And in pgSQL, exception handling will be there. So if any kind of exception will come, then execution will not be stopped. So that control goes to the exception block. Okay. And triggers, in plain SQL, we can't write triggers. So we can write different types of triggers: row level trigger, statement level trigger, for auditing, enforcing business rules, and cascading updates. So we can write triggers. That means we can do some kind of automation if we use pgSQL. And complex data handling, see, limited to queries and views. Okay. So if you use pgSQL, we can use any kind, we can handle, not we can use, we can handle different types of data formats. Okay. So that means we can process complex data logic inside database. And security wise also, every user needs table access. And coming to this pgSQL, you can hide tables and expose only required functions. Okay. So that is pgSQL.